Hey everyone, what if I told you that you could build an entire project plan from scratch in the time it takes to drink your morning coffee? Well, that's not science fiction anymore. Today, we're diving into how artificial intelligence is completely changing the game for project management.
Does this feel a little too familiar? The endless hours spent wrestling with spreadsheets, all the tedious data entry, and just the constant guesswork around timelines and risks. It's a headache we've all felt as project managers.
But we're in the middle of a huge shift. We're moving away from that manual, kind of chaotic way of doing things over to the streamlined AI-powered planning you see here. And this isn't just about being faster, it's about moving from guesswork to making truly intelligent decisions. So how does AI actually pull all this off? Well, the best way to really get it is to break it down into what I like to call its 4 core superpowers. Think of these as the fundamental abilities that are driving this entire transformation. First up, we have language. This is AI's ability to understand, interpret, and even generate human language, like with tools such as ChatGPT. This one superpower is totally changing how project teams communicate with each other. And the way it's being used is incredibly practical. AI can automatically transcribe your meetings, instantly translate communications for global teams, and even act as a chatbot to help you use your tools. It's an absolute game changer for breaking down communication barriers, especially when your team is remote or spread across the world. Okay, our second superpower is pattern recognition. This is AI's almost magical ability to see the invisible, to sift through mountains of project data and spot these subtle trends that a human just could never catch. This is the engine that powers better forecasting and way more confident decision-making. And here's where it gets really powerful. AI can look at all your past projects to give us way more accurate time and budget estimates. It can flag potential risks before they happen and even guess how likely they are to occur, which lets us be proactive instead of just reactive. It's all about swapping out that guesswork for real, data-driven insights. Superpower number 3 is optimization. So think about juggling all those project deadlines, your team's availability, and budget limits. It's complex, right? Well, for these kinds of problems, AI can analyze literally every possible combination to find the single best path forward, all based on the goals that you set. This is where it just operates on a whole different level. Imagine trying to pick the absolute perfect mix of projects from dozens of options, or assigning the right people to hundreds of different tasks. A human could never crunch all those numbers. But for an AI, it can find the optimal solution that gives you the most value instantly. And finally, our fourth superpower, automation. This is probably the one you'll feel the most right now. It's all about handing off all those repetitive administrative tasks over to your AI assistant. And this is where things get really good, because this is where our human potential gets unlocked. By automating all that tedious data entry, the milestone tracking, and the weekly status reports, project managers are finally freed from that administrative grind. You can finally focus on strategy, on leadership, on talking to stakeholders, the work that actually requires a human touch.
So we've talked about the theory behind these 4 superpowers. Now let's bring it down to earth and see how they actually come to life inside a tool many of you might already be using.
Let me introduce you to Microsoft 365 Copilot. The easiest way to think of it is as a virtual assistant that's built right into Microsoft Project. It takes all those superpowers we just talked about to help you create better, more efficient project plans way faster. And you can see here just how it all connects. Those abstract superpowers get mapped to concrete features. So pattern recognition, that becomes predictive risk analysis. Optimization, that gives you intelligent scheduling. And automation, of course, powers things like generating reports automatically. It's not a theory anymore. It's a feature right there in your software.
Now for the really, really exciting part. Let's walk through a practical example that shows just how revolutionary this all is. You can literally go from a simple idea in your head to a full project plan in just a few minutes.
And the process is just stunningly simple. Seriously, it's 4 steps. First, you just write a description of your project. You can even dictate it. Second, you ask a tool like ChatGPT to turn that idea into a project plan in a table format. Third, you copy that table into a spreadsheet. And finally, you import that file directly into MS Project. That's it, you're done. As Christian from the Vision 60 channel put it when he was demonstrating this exact process, he said, "Aren't you surprised like me how fast this is going?" And honestly, yeah, It's almost unbelievable how quick it is. Just let that sink in for a second. A task that used to take hours, maybe even days of painstaking manual work, creating tasks, estimating how long they'll take, assigning resources, can now be done in just a few minutes with a couple of simple prompts. This is a complete and total game changer for project planning. So, with all this incredible power at our fingertips, what does the future actually look like? Does this mean project managers are out of a job? Absolutely not. It's about changing the role and putting the human right where they're needed most, in the loop. This quote just captures the core idea perfectly. AI is an incredibly powerful tool, but it is not a replacement for human intelligence. The final decisions, the creative problem solving, the strategic thinking, that all comes down to human judgment. So, here's the big takeaway. Let the AI handle the repetitive work. Let it crunch the data to predict risks and optimize schedules. Your job, the human job, is to provide the context, the strategy, and the final judgment. You are the pilot, and AI is your co-pilot. And that leaves us with one last powerful question to think about. What could you build? What could you achieve if AI took care of all the tedious parts of planning, freeing you up to actually lead? The future is here, and it's time to start building it.